All right, Matt the Mortgage Guy here. I'm here with Doug Reynolds, Coldwell Banker, one of my favorite agents. And I've got a question for you. As people nowadays can work from home and they want a home gym and they want a home office, I'm seeing more than ever the need to move up or move into a new home. Easier said than done, I think, to sell a house and buy one forward. But what can you tell me some things that you've done that have been successful to help someone transition when they're trying to buy and sell essentially at the same time?
Yeah, we got a few compounding factors of making why it's challenging to be a move up, sell and buy person in the Sacramento market. The speed of real estate has really just accelerated so much in the last, I started about 15 years ago in real estate, and since then it's incredible how fast things move. So with just phones and apps and just the technology and everything, things move so much faster. And so before it was more of a slower paced thing where you can sell your house and buy another place and it's no big deal. Well, things move so quick now. Everybody knows about everything that's on the market now, all that stuff. So that adds an element to it. Throw that into the factor of we just don't have much inventory, and so there's a lot of buyers and not many houses to choose from. That adds an extra element that makes it a little bit challenging to complete that process all the way. So there's a few different ways you can go about it. We've got a lot of buyers that maybe bought in 2010, 11, 12, bought a first starter home, really, maybe bought it for $250 or something. Mm-hmm. It's worth $500,000 or $600,000 now. And they're like, man, I'm sitting on a ton of equity. We need another bedroom. We need an office, those types of things. I want to sell my place and buy another place. I'm going to move all this equity over. It's going to be great. So there's a few ways to go about it. One, I try to get my clients to first reach out to the lender, get pre-approved, and find out if option one is even possible to you. Some people can qualify to buy their next house before they have completed the sale of their current home. By doing that, that allows you to stay in your house that you're in, be comfortable, but be looking and searching for homes. And you can find a property and not be contingent upon selling your house. What I do with those people is we get your home ready as if you're going to sell it. We might even take pictures. We literally have everything ready to go, but we don't put it on the market. We search for a home. You can find a property, watch another one of our videos talking about the strategies of buying a property, getting your offer accepted and everything. But essentially you can buy that property, close escrow, move in, and then we can get your house on the market after that. And the two aren't tied to each other. You're a stronger buyer this way, you're a stronger seller this way. They're not tied to each other. There's not a lot of people that can do that qualifying wise. So sometimes that's not an option, but for the people that it is, it's usually your best option in my opinion. A lot of people get a little freaked out over, 2 mortgages and everything. Well, in this market, the more challenging thing is the buying. Selling is not as difficult, that's for sure. As well as the way mortgage payments work. Their mortgage payments are made in arrears, so you kind of get this free month that you're not making a mortgage payment. It really helps with that buffer. Get the house on the market, get it sold. It puts you in a much better position.
Right.
Option 2 is you can just put your house on the market. You could just sell it just straightforward and move into something temporarily. You might move into an apartment temporarily, move in with some family temporarily, something like that. But you get the sale done. You're not having to tie it to a purchase or anything like that. I know it sounds a little crazy. I don't want to move twice and all that. Well, a lot of people, they pack up their stuff, move it into somewhere temporarily, and they just do something knowing it's temporary. But what that does is you can sell the house and you're in a position, if the buyer starts messing around or whatever, you can be pretty firm with them, just saying, no, we're not going to do that. And you're still in your home, but you can do really well on that. Close, get your money, be somewhere temporarily, and then you're in a good position as a buyer. You've got your money in the bank. You're not contingent upon a sale of a property or anything. And that's one way to go about it. There's pros and cons to all of these for sure. The third and probably most common route is tying your properties, the sale and the purchase, together into one. And the selling side is not difficult right now. Put your house on the market and you're going to do really well. but it's getting an offer accepted on the buying side with knowing that you're contingent upon selling that property. So there's two ways to go about that. There's a little nuance within it. You can either list your property first for sale, get somebody in contract, hopefully work out some terms where you've got kind of a buffer grace period to go look for a home and find a property. Your offer is going to be stronger if you're writing an offer and saying, hey, it's contingent upon a sale in my house, but my house is already in escrow. And you've got kind of a ticking time bomb there, though. You've got to work stuff out. It's doable, but it's not best case scenario, that's for sure. And then the opposite of that is you have your house ready to go on the market, but you're not on the market yet, and you're searching for a home. You write an offer. You got to write that offer contingent upon selling your property. It usually doesn't look as appealing to a buyer or a seller when they've got 5 or 6 offers, and some of them are not contingent, and they can just go forward with the sale without any issues. So that's a bit of a challenging piece to convince a seller to take your offer knowing it's contingent. But I've got a few tricks and nuances within that to do. I try to take pictures beforehand. When I write that offer, I say, hey, here's the virtual tour. Their house is dialed in. It's amazing. It's going to sell right away. There's not going to be any issues. Trying to convince them that, hey, take our offer. Our sale is going to be just fine there. So this is a Cliff Notes version of this and how it works, but that's kind of the nuances for my side of things as a realtor when it comes to kind of that move up buyer and your options that are there. Matt, why don't you talk about kind of the loan side of things, how that looks, what ways do things work, and what options do people have that way?
Sure, yeah, and I'll touch on it too, because like you said, there's different options and different people are going to qualify for different stuff. And so when somebody comes to me, an agent like yourself who's fairly knowledgeable is going to say, hey, do they qualify for this new house, not contingent on selling their old house? And generally, one of those biggest issues is if you've lived in this house, you've gained all this equity, and you're going to net, a big amount of money to put down on the next house, you don't have those funds to close on the house. And so when we assess everything, there's a couple different things that we can do. Something I've done with buyers a lot recently is, let's say that you've got $50,000 in the bank and you're buying your move-up house for $600,000, and you know that you're going to net $200,000, and you want to put that down towards your new house. What you can do, and I've got a great lender who I've done this multiple times with, is put 5% down on that purchase when you're buying forward on $600,000. And if you can do that, you can qualify for it. You do that, you close on that house, then you sell your house. Once you get those proceeds, you make a big lump payment to the new mortgage, and you put an extra 15, you put an extra 20% down, and then get that mortgage recasted. And so what that essentially does is allow you to, with less money, close on the new house. Of course, you have to qualify to be able to do that. Then take proceeds after the fact, apply them to your mortgage, and then you end up with a mortgage that is the mortgage that would have been had you put 20 or 25% down up front. So that's a strategy, and everybody's going to be different. So this is where, rightfully so, you're pushing in my way to say, okay, what options do we have from a lending standpoint? Because if you can qualify for that new house without being contingent, I know it and you know it, in this market more than ever. You just want to put your best foot forward and be as strong as possible. And with multiple offers to choose from, it's going to be tough to get a contingent offer accepted. But knowing your options when you come to the lender, whether it's, do you have some money in the bank to put a down payment and carry both mortgages for a time being? I'll give an example of what you were saying with the mortgage. If you buy a house that closes March 7th, you're not going to have a mortgage payment until what comes after March? April and May? Until May 1st. Yeah, sorry. Getting my months mixed up. And so, you might have 30 or 45 days to sell this house, and you're not going to be double mortgaged until a few months after the fact. And so that's something to consider. But really, it's like most anything in mortgage. You want to have the conversation. You want to put your cards on the table and have a mortgage advisor who's seen thousands of scenarios say, here's 2 or 3 different options, and here's what you can do. A lot of folks, if they go search the internet or they search YouTube, are going to find an 8-year-old video or a 12-year-old video, and they're going to say, hey, I want to look into this loan product, and it's from 2007, right? And it's some sort of bridge loan or something like that. I don't really want to get into bridge loans because they're so difficult and so limiting that I don't think that a lot of people are going to be using bridge loans, which you still have to qualify for both mortgages, even if you're using a bridge loan and you plan to sell your past house. So there's that. But the first and only step that's the most important is to talk to a lender to see what your options are. Once you know what your options are, then you go to Doug and myself, or whatever agent and lender partner you have, are going to put together a plan to execute on something that can be done and is done quite often. It's just, if you're not dealing with professionals who have done it multiple times and who know what they're doing, things can get messy.
Yeah, it's interesting when people reach out to me, maybe a past client, I sold them the house 5, 6, 7 years ago. They call me up, hey, we're busting at the seams, we're ready to do a move up, we want to sell and buy. Kind of one of the first things I do is say, well, you got to call the lender and get pre-approved. And they're like, well, that's weird. Isn't that further down the road? And I say, no, let's find out what options you have available, because then I can present everything to you and you can then make your decision on which route you want to go. There's no right or wrong answer. It's more of my 2, 3, 4 options I have of doing this eventual move up, getting to my eventual goal. This is what's best for us. If you're single, it might be a different answer than somebody who just had their first child, or they've got multiple kids in the home or something like that. They might want to go about it a different route than someone in a different scenario. And so it's getting the pre-approval done. It's finding out what options you've got, then working with your agent to figure out which of those routes are we going to take because it makes the most sense for us, and then going with your best foot forward from there. So that's kind of the ins and outs of doing the move up, sell, and then buy as far as the process goes. When you've got equity in your house, you're ready to move up to a different property and those types of things. So reach out to Matt for the loan side of things. Reach out to me for the listing and buying side of things. Hope this video was helpful, and we look forward to talking to you soon.